Hi Year 4, and here's your writing task for this week. It might be with this writing task that you do it towards the end of the week once you've learned a bit more about volcanoes over the next few days in your geography and your science lessons. So your task is to write a fact file about volcanoes. I've got a fact file example here, and you can see there's loads of information on this fact file about volcanoes. We've got here a great title. Using bubble writing really stands out, and we know that this fact file is going to be all about volcanoes. Here we've got a diagram. So in a fact file you will definitely have a diagram which will be labelled and which will be accurate either scientifically or geographically. And you'll also have some photographs which show real true life pictures of volcanoes. So we'll have photo. We will have lots and lots of subtitles which help to separate your paragraphs of information out. So each fact that you're writing about, you will give a different subheading. And again, you can make these look quite interesting, a bit like the title if you'd like to. And you'll also have some quite interesting facts. So I've got a fact here about Vulcan, which is where the word volcano comes from, which isn't to do with the structure of the volcano. It's not geographical, it's not scientific, but it helps to understand where the word comes from. So you might have an interesting fact. Okay, so I've got a success criteria here which will help you to ensure that your fact file about your volcano is successful. So like we've looked at just now, you're going to have a title. So in my example, the title is Volcanoes. Yours is probably going to be exactly the same, but you might decide to call yours Vicious Volcanoes, for example. You'll need a little introduction which just introduces volcanoes. So if we have a look at my example here, this is my introduction, and as you can see, it's just 2 sentences long. A volcano is a geographical feature that usually resembles a mountain. It is an opening in the Earth's crust from which red-hot magma, ash, and gas can escape. And that's given a really quick and easy introduction to the fact file. You're going to separate your facts into paragraphs. So as you can see again from my example of a fact file about volcanoes, we've got all of our different pieces of information in paragraphs. Some of mine are separated out into boxes. Some of them are just written straight onto the page next to images or diagrams. You'll have subheadings which highlight the facts. So if we go back to the example, we've got facts here all about where volcanoes are in the world, and it's called the Ring of Fire. So my subheading is Ring of Fire. I've then gone on to talk about different types of volcanoes, so my subheading is Types of Volcanoes. Your piece of writing, so your fact file, will be written in the present tense. So the example here, a volcano that is erupting or that erupts regularly, so this means it's happening now. You will write in the third person, so it's not saying I like volcanoes, I think they're great. This is a fact file, so it's information. So the vast majority of them, which refers to volcanoes, are underwater. You're going to definitely have technical vocabulary. So here I've got the word dormant, which can only be related in this context to a volcano, and erupt again. So they are my technical pieces of vocabulary. You're going to have lots and lots of facts, a huge range of facts. And if we have a look at the example here, which I will put onto the website so that you have it to look at, I've got the structure of a volcano, where the word volcano comes from, types of volcanoes, where volcanoes are in the world, what happens when a volcano explodes, some information about the destruction of that volcanoes cause, like Pompeii that we know about, and that we've just done in geography, the layers of the Earth. You'll also have in your piece of writing, in your fact file, a diagram and a photograph. Now, you might have a few diagrams and you might have a few photographs. It's completely up to you how you set your fact file out. So if you have a look at this example, we've got 3 photographs here, and then the other pictures are diagrams, which are then labelled, and you've got small captions to go with those. I've got a picture of a volcano here behind when volcanoes explode to help to decorate it, so that the fact file then ends up being a really eye-catching piece of information. You can set your work out however you choose. It might be that you really want to concentrate just on the structure of a volcano and what happens when it explodes. It might be that you're interested in telling me about the types of volcanoes and the structure of volcanoes. It might be that you want to talk about the layers of the earth, the structure of a volcano, and then what happens when a volcano explodes and the damage it causes. It's completely up to you. I'm really looking forward to seeing the examples of fact files that you do.